Hello and welcome to Mighty Obstacle Studios' month in review for November 2024. Well, I said in the last month in review that I was going to do a lot of 3D modeling stuff. Did that happen? Kinda. You'll see why in this video. The first big thing was the Momentum video. If you haven't watched it yet, it's a video about platformers that use momentum for their gameplay, and explaining how and why Necrolepsy, Dracoblood, and Scouter use it. It was a pretty fun video to make and was actually relevant to Scouter. Because of that, I think it helped make Scouter reach a wider audience, which was the goal. It was great to see the subscriber count increase and see new faces interested in Scouter. Of course, making a good video was a goal too. It's just nice to see both goals achieved. I plan to make a sequel to this video with combat and explain Scouter's similarities to Devil May Cry and Mega Man Zero. The other fun but stressful thing to make was Chance Blade. This was a 48-hour self-made game jam I did to accomplish a lot of goals. I mean, a lot of goals. I'll go through them later, but the important part is what this game is. This is an action platformer with roguelike elements. You go through and level up Red Tide any way you wish to make the experience you want, but you can only get 6 total upgrades, so you have to plan what you want. It makes the game fun to replay, optimize, and strategize. Lots of different systems were at play in this one, and I'm happy with how it turned out. Many other people seem to think so too, which makes me happy. Let's go through those goals I mentioned earlier. Number 1, I can make a game in Godot. Yeah, that was met in spades. Number 2, I want to make an action platformer that has roguelike elements. Yeah, I did that too. Number 3, make some pretty decent models with decent rigs. Got that down pat, and I even found out how to merge animations properly. That's why Red Tide here can attack during any animation. Number 4, try to keep it together. This was the toughest because the last game jams I did, I really got frustrated. It's really hard to do these, let alone do these on your own. I hope in the future I can do these jams with more people. It would also be nice to do this for an actual game jam to try and see if maybe, just maybe, I can make a splash landing somewhere. Though I said I would work on 3D modeling in the last video, it turns out a lot of it turned into particle work for Scouter. I did make a good chunk for Chance Blade, which was good practice. What happened was I was trying to make some 3D models for cool effects, but then I realized that the bulk of that in older games was actually particle systems. I did get to do a lot of fun stuff with particles, like making this new explosion effect, which is really cool. I'm also a big fan of learning how to make some better sparking animations for Scout Slide, and how to properly use emissions and backlighting to make things look really easy to read no matter the environment. It's looking really nice, and Scouter is benefiting from even the simplest of particle effects. Doing this also makes Scouter look more like a period piece, because a lot of Dreamcast games used particles when they couldn't use 3D models. I think Sonic Adventure 2 is one of the better representations of that, even though the first game used a single sphere model for an explosion. Unfortunately, it looked like crap, so I like what Sonic Adventure 2 looks like instead. Alright, it's lightning round time. I made some rocks. They use a seamless texture, so that's pretty cool, I guess. The enemies were a little too prepared for Scout, so I decided to make them not as aggressive when Scout is not in view. I also did a task for a seamless skybox. It works. Looks like it needs some help, though. I did a little bit of UI touch-up and centered the level select a little bit to make it look nicer, which is what I was planning on anyway. It also works with the game controller, so it does check your save file, which is nice. I also started on some work for the next stage after Fresh Forest. That would be Devil's Ditch. I think my favorite thing is that I made it so Scout has the ability to use universal cancels on any of her moves. So if you're in the middle of a combo but want to launch an enemy, now you can, and you can slam them down with the new down thrust move. Oh yeah, Scout's wall jumping has been made higher. I got some comments on that from the Momentum video. One last thing, Scout has a brand new sliding animation. And I thought it was a bit weird that she was taking her brand new staff and dragging it across the floor. So now it's more correct, it moves well, adjusts based on her speed, and as a bonus due to how the pose works, you get to see her butt. Thanks for watching until the end. I usually end these with a recommendation, so what do I recommend you play? Well, one of the games I showed off in the Momentum video is actually one of my favorites of all time, and I'm shocked I haven't recommended it yet. That game would be Mirror's Edge. It's a pretty great first-person action platformer. It's really fun, has a fun anti-authority story, and I really enjoy this game a lot, even though the ending really sucks. I also discovered a patch that I was able to use to make the game run at an uncapped frame rate for once in my life, and wow! Mirror's Edge at 144 FPS. Beautiful stuff. Be careful when downloading that patch though, because oh my goodness, Windows Defender did not like it. Mainly because it probably used Cheat Engine, and Cheat Engine is how you usually get all these somewhat older games to work properly now. If you really enjoy the content we make sure that you check out and support our Patreon, and also check out the other social medias we have in the description. With next month, you should expect to see more graphic stuff, and I do mean that this time. I really want to make a lot more levels and get more experience in general with 3D modeling. Scout needs new animations, the levels need to be made, props need to be made. I have a lot to do, and I think I'm going to finally do that. With that, see you all next time in the next video. Take care.